Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry about the delay. It's been so long that I've actually gone live that I've forgotten the settings that I had the last time I did this. So I'm hoping you guys can hear me clearly. If you can, just let me know, leave me a comment, let me know. I'm going to just wait for a little bit for people to join. Hopefully, we'll have a few people participating, and I'll start work in the meanwhile. I've got my trusty cup of coffee over here. And this is what we're working on today. We had sewn up a bunch of scrunchy tubes. I use the burrito method, so these will look a little different from the regular ones. I've got another stack of them all stitched up here. I'm just going to put all of these in one place so that I have one empty container to add all the strips that have been turned the right side out. This is a bit of a last minute live stream, so I'm just going to wing it for the time being. As and when people join in, I will start answering questions. Pop your questions in that chat box, and we'll get straight to it. So with the burrito method, once you stitch it up, you have to flip the tubes inside out, and that reveals the right side of the scrunchie. So that's what I'm doing today. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Just grab my phone. Okay, looks like everything's all set up. I've just done a little bit of a test. Hi, guys, and welcome to the live stream. Feel free to leave a little comment. Let me know who you are, where you're from, and how you managed to stumble upon the live stream today. What we're doing is working on some scrunchies this morning. I use the burrito method while making my scrunchies. So this is what they look like after they've been stitched. And the next step involved is actually flipping all of these the right side out to reveal the gorgeous fabric that will then become scrunchies. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. If you're new here, my name's Trisha. I'm the owner of Golden Bottle Designs. We are a handmade hair accessories business, and scrunchies are one of the products that I offer on my online platform as well as at markets. There's a couple of you that are watching right now. I'd love to know who you are. So if you can just drop your name or say hello in the chat section, I'll know who you are. Or to start off with, I'm hoping you guys can hear me. Hi, Deborah. Good morning from Bundaberg. I've always wanted to visit there. We made it as far as the Sunshine Coast a few years ago, and we were hoping to do like a whole trip to Bundaberg and all of that. But the weather just turned and we didn't make it that day. But Bundaberg's on my list of places to visit. How are you this morning? I'm not too bad. We've had a bit of a hiccup to the start of the year, but I'm chugging along. I'm here. Deborah, I'm going to give this live a few minutes to see if anyone else is going to join in. It was a very last minute sort of a live stream, hoping that a few more people join in. Setting up for work. Do you have a small business or are you working from home this morning? Oh, fantastic. A lot of companies are making people go back in full time, my husband's company included. You're a dog groomer. How fun. You must be getting to work with such gorgeous pups. And I call them all pups, no matter how old they are. Fur babies, I guess, would be the right way to address them. One of my market besties has like a pet accessories sort of business. And it's always so fun when she's set up either opposite me or on either side. I get to meet some of the most gorgeous little dogs. Not fun all the time. I'm sure it has its challenges, of its fair share of challenges. Not fur babies. So what's the correct term then? Hello, good morning. All the way from Florida. What time is it there? I just call them pups and you're their guardian. I think that's a fantastic way to go. 7:15 in the evening, that's not too bad. How's your day been? So, Shell, is that short for Michelle or is that just Shell? Oh, sounds like a nice night or evening in. What sort of things do you crochet? Rochelle. I have cousin sisters, two of them siblings. One's Michelle, the other's Rochelle. So I don't know, for some reason, my mind always jumps to Michelle first. I'm working on a shawl right now. Awesome. It's been so long that I've actually crocheted anything. The last one that I did were two massive throws for just around the house, cardigans and hats. You're very talented and very patient, a lot more patient than I would ever be, I think. I've never tried my hand at cardigans. I don't know if I will have the patience or the discipline to kind of make the pieces and put them all together. Making of the pieces, something I can do. Putting them all together, I've never tried, so I'm not sure I'd be able to. Oh, thank you. You're very kind. I've been MIA for a bit. I took the month of Jan off, and just as I was ready to get back into the swing of things in Feb, I started with a few days of work. We had a bit of a family emergency. I had to travel to India. Most of our extended family is there. Deb, it tends to happen every once in a while. I'm hoping it's just a phase and it comes back. There are some times where I don't want to touch another piece of fabric, and that's what happened to me around the month of Feb. There was so much happening on the personal front. I just couldn't get myself to do anything. Puppy and me. Oh, that's a very sweet name. Do you have appointments scheduled for this morning? Yep, I feel you. I had to, I gave myself the grace, and I think that's important for us as small business owners because there was a time I just couldn't get myself to do anything. I went back to India to visit family. That was a whole different thing. I had a bit of a dental emergency over there. I came back to another dental emergency, and it was all kinds of mad. That was Feb for me in a nutshell. And I did one market at the start of March, and that kind of got me back into the swing of things. I hadn't done much prep, but I just decided to jump back in because there was no way I could take any more time off. Last purchase of material is sitting. Yeah, you'll get there. Give yourself grace and time. You'll get there. Give me one quick second, guys. How did you start sewing and how long have you been sewing? Well, my sewing journey has been off and on for a very long time. We did a few projects back when I was in school, which was a long time ago. Made some skirts, some very simple children's dresses, a lot of other projects like napkins and needlepoint, embroidery, all that kind of stuff. And after school, I just kind of left it, didn't really do much after that. My hair accessory business I've had since I want to say 2020. I think it was 2020, but um, I've always liked doing things with my hands. So before I was doing this, like a really, really long time ago, back in 2008, I used to make floral arrangements, not real flowers, but sorry, fabric flowers. So we did bridal arrangements, which are very typical in India at that time, at least. No one ever really used fresh flowers because it was difficult to manage given the temperature. So a lot of, um, in fact, most Christian weddings at least used artificial fabric flower arrangements. And that's what I used to do back then. I used to also dabble in cakes, made a lot of birthday cakes, wedding cakes. I used to take orders. So I've always been crafty, but coming back to sewing, that happened, yeah, I think 2000, 2019, 2020, thereabouts. Once I started the business, I really haven't had too much time to stitch anything for myself. I have a few patterns that I have earmarked. I've got fabric for the projects, but I really haven't started or even started planning work on it. So that's the extent of my sewing at the moment. Even grooming, I've had to have some time off. I think all of us need that time off every once in a while. Sometimes we go so hard, we reach the stage where, it just doesn't bring that or spark that kind of magic that it usually does. Happens to me every once in a while. For you, it's harder because you've got to be present while your appointments are happening. For me, I can afford to take a little time off, but then, of course, the business does get affected. I usually do my market prep in batches. So even if I'm not feeling like it in a given week, I'm close to burnout, I can afford to take it slow that week. It's just market days. I've got to be there. I've got to show up. But we do the best we can, don't we? Quick question. How did you guys find out about the live stream? It was a very last minute decision last evening. I had a bunch of fabric already stitched up, and I said, why not pop on here, have a quick chat with everyone? Because I've had a lot of comments, messages, very sweet ones asking me where I was, whether I was going to post videos again. The short answer is yes. I have a lot of content from last November, I think. Oh, it just popped up on. Okay, fantastic. So, do you guys do markets as well? Popped up on my home feed. Nice. I wasn't sure it was going to do that, considering that I've not been very active on this on socials as well as on YouTube for the last month or so. But I'm hoping to do a few more live streams, work with me kind of sessions, question and answers. If you guys have any questions for me, just shoot. I'll do my best to answer them. Rochelle, I've heard Joann's is closing in the US. Does that sort of affect where you get your raw material from, your yarn and such, or are you all right with your? Do you source it from elsewhere? Do you enjoy doing markets? It is. It's awful. Don't like Michaels for my fabric and yarn. Oh, that's an absolute shame. I always had fabric envy because I used to see people post hauls and such. I know Amazon used to have a fabric arm of their online division. I'm not a big fan of Amazon. I hardly ever use it, but I heard from another maker friend that she would get some bits of fabric, some types of fabric from Amazon in the US, that is. I love markets. I love markets too. Have a good day, Deborah. Thank you for joining. I'm the same. Fabrics, I really, really struggle to buy online, though I have picked a few bits and pieces online. Some have been all right, some have been a bit of a miss. What I find is that, Donny girl, hi everyone watching on my TV and changed my laptop. Oh, fantastic. Welcome. Yeah, so like I was saying with fabrics, I find even though two particular fabrics might be described the same way, might be the same sort of fabric, they can feel very different. And don't even get me started on dye lots and such. Do you ever get your fabric from Spoonflower? And lots of folks have been completely stumped with the Joann's closure. Absolutely, I get that. I go in with a blank or an empty page in my mind, except if I need to restock certain things or there are specific fabrics that I need to get. I just go and have a wander. It's not an online store. It is sort of. So if you look up Spoonflower, I've ordered from them a couple of times, but for us, with the exchange rate and then postage and all of that, it's getting a bit out of hand. So with Spoonflower, the way I understand it is it's like a print on demand uh, place. So artists that come up with patterns for fabrics and such, I think they do wallpaper as well, can submit their designs, right? And they have a variety of fabric bases that they offer. So they have cottons, they have lycras, they have muslin, canvas, a whole bunch of different options. And you can search for your pattern. So let's say I'm looking for a galaxy sort of print. So in the search bar, put in galaxy print fabric or something like that, put in your keywords. It'll throw up a whole bunch of different designs for you. You pick, you browse, And when you find something you like, you can actually select the fabric base that you want to go with, and then you select the amount of fabric that you want, and it gets delivered to you. I believe they also have like a sampler pack of bases in case you want to get a feel, and they're pretty consistent with the feel of their fabric. So maybe check it out and see if it works for you. I don't know. We have beautiful quilting shops over here, but they are so pricey. It's an absolute crying shame. It's just not worth it for the kind of fabric that they offer. Like basic cottons, I've seen them range from 20 to $35 a meter, which is just a little more than a yard. So I don't know. In my mind, that's a little too much. I think there's a Mood Fabrics also in the US. I'm not really sure whether they are available in multiple cities, but Mood Fabrics also, I watch a lot of fabric hauls, guys. I just enjoy seeing different prints, different options that are available. Yeah, Spotlight, one of our regular stores, pretty much like your Michaels and Joann's, is one of the only chains that are kind of accessible at the moment. We used to have two. One was Lincraft and one was Spotlight. And Lincraft sort of shut most of its stores in and around the city and suburbs, and they only have a few regional ones, and they have online available. But they used to have really great fabric. However, now the quality of their fabric is just not the same. Have a look at the website and see if they've got anything there, or if you can see reviews or hauls, it'll give you a sort of an idea of what to expect and whether it's actually even worth it. Donny girl, do you have a small business as well, or do you just craft or for you is sewing a hobby? We don't have Hobby Lobby, just Michaels. Yeah. Is Michaels not that great for fabric? I've never been to either, so I wouldn't know. Not like Joanne's. Native Alaskan and make goods for the tourist traffic. Oh, that's really nice. If you don't mind me asking, what sort of things do you craft or make? Must be a busy time of the year for you, I'm assuming. Is your tourist season in Alaska more summer or winter? Native coats, normal clothes. How are you finding the entire selling experience, the making, the selling? Yeah, so this must be a busy time of the year for you. Thanks for joining in, Rochelle. It was lovely chatting with you to enjoy your evening. I used to watch a very sweet couple's YouTube channel. They also Alaska based, and they have like a small, I wouldn't call it a homestead, but they grow a lot of their own produce and preserve it for the rest of the year when you really can't grow anything there. We are still in winter season here, fresh snow all week. Almost had an easy spring without all the mud. Oh, yeah, we're still in March, aren't we? We are pretty much hoping to be done with summer here in Sydney. The days seem like they're cooling down and it's starting to get brighter a little later. Twilight in the evenings a little earlier, but every few days we'll have a really ridiculously hot day. So I'm not sure what's happening. We're meant to be, well, officially they say it is autumn right now, though technically the season starts around the 22nd, 23rd, but it usually starts cooling off a bit now. You must be busy gearing up for the busy season then. Do you sell at markets or do you have a shop somewhere? Thank you. The scrunchy boards, the little, the single one where I put my satin scrunchies, that's the only one that we purchased from Kmart. And then when I needed more, there just wasn't any. So we just ended up making some. For us, that is a more economical way to go because if you, sorry, at least over here, if you look at people that make market displays and all professionally, it is crazy expensive. One of my regular vendor neighbors at a regular market that I do sells the prettiest sugar cookies, decorated ones. They got a pegboard made for their to display their cookies and such, and it's about the same size as one of the boards that I have, and the small one, that is the one that I have on the table, about the same size, different material. Theirs seems more like a timber, though, and mine is like an MDF sort of composite board kind of material that I'm not too crazy about, but it does the job. So she ended up spending, I think, 400 to 500 Aussie dollars for that board, which, oh my God, they couldn't believe how expensive it was. And I don't think I would have spent close to $1,000 on my scrunchy board. Sell at the native center in the summer, like you said, working on building up stock. Yeah. Do you have to spend time manning your stock at the center, or you just provide the goods and they sort of sell it for you? Oh, that's great. It's easy and you should be able to, he should be able to, if he's handy, he should be able to do it. My husband's working on some displays for me, not right now as in at this point, but during the course of the week. We're doing our very first pop-up in a shopping center, and I need new displays for that because my the one that I have for my wire headbands is absolutely thrashed. We get a table for all day that costs us $20. We can set up all 7 days, but I aim for just 2 days a week. All right, that is a really, really, I think it's a good price. Nothing, none of the markets that I do here are anywhere near that figure. I think one of the lowest priced market fees for me at the moment or in the past was one where it's a night market and I pay like $50 for it. That's one of the cheapest. Everything is 100 and up. Mind you, this is Australian dollars, so it takes a big chunk of the earnings for the day, but there's no other option really. I'm hoping to build my online presence a little more. I know I've been really slack, at least with YouTube and such, the first part of the year, but I'm hoping to do a few more lives. Home Affairs, she's another Christina. No. Oh, I should check her out. No, I haven't. I can't say I've seen any of her videos yet. I'm hoping to do a few more YouTube lives. I'm going to aim for at least two a week, at least one. I think I'll start with one a week, see how that goes, and take it from there, really. So to sell videos. Oh, very cool. I think I might check her out. I'm currently contemplating making tote bags and pouches. I made up a few samples of the kind of totes that I want to have, but I've never really gotten around to actually sitting and making stock to add to the shop. I might do something for Mother's Day. Mother's Day is in May over here, so maybe some limited edition tote bags for Mother's Day. Let's see. She gets a lot of her fabric free, some of its upholstery samples, and makes some easy bags totes. That is a sweet deal. Fabric over here is really, really pricey. Even the most basic fabrics. I know Taylor Rose. I watch her videos too. I'm hoping to launch a whole new range of hair clips. I finally had all the little bits and pieces. I don't know if you're following on Instagram, but I gave a little bit of a sneak peek of the kind of clips that I'm hoping to do and started work on them. But with this pop up in the shopping center, it was a last minute thing, came together over the last couple of days, and it's next week. So I'm glad I had already started on the scrunchies. It goes for 7 whole days. 9 in the morning to 5:30 in the evening, except for Thursday, which is a 9 to 9, so like a 12-hour session. So apart from that, I highly doubt I'm going to have time to make stock during that week. I'm excited, but also a little nervous because it's the first time I'm doing something like that. Hi, Tina. I love watching her videos. I love watching Tina from Canada, XXL Scrunchies. I've just not had the time to catch up on any of their videos at the moment. I'm not sure how much I'll get to film, but yes, I have started filming bits and pieces of the prep, obviously. I've got a few things coming in. I should be able to film the setup, though during the course of the pop up while it's open, I'm not sure how much coverage I'll be able to get because it's a busy shopping center. Monday, Tuesdays might be a little slow, so I might be able to get a little content, but I'll for sure get some clips of start of day, end of day, a little bit in the middle if I can. I can't believe I'm doing it with such little lead time. But I figured if I didn't do it now, there was no availability till after Easter, which is, I think she told me the first availability was 21st of April. And sorry, 1st of April. And I really didn't want to wait that long. I wanted to get in before Easter. It's also going to be school holidays here really soon. So, end of term sort of, I think they get a 2 to 3 weeks of a break. And I'm hoping to capture a little bit of that crowd. I also wanted to go in while trade was at a regular pace, just to kind of gauge the kind of crowd that I can expect for when it actually gets a little busier. So, yes, this one's going to be. It's the center is really close to us. It's like a 5 minute drive, and it's my local shopping center. Uh, I am a whole bunch of nerves. I love watching market vlogs. I love them too. I'm at the moment I watch Hippie Poppy, I think she's called. She's a crochet artist. She makes the cutest little crochet toys and such. What kind of sewing machines do you use? I primarily use a Path. My mom bought me 46 years ago a Baby Lock Serger and a cover hem machine. I started off back like 20 years ago. I had a really old Singer machine that belonged to my grandmother. And when we moved to Sydney, I didn't have use of that anymore. We kind of gave it off to one of my neighbors back home. My mom gave it off to a neighbor, and till date, I sort of regret that because I really loved that machine. It was a hand crank, mind you. That's how old it was, though I could have converted it to electric and all of that. It was a gorgeous machine, the black and uh, gold flourishes, gold painted flourishes on it. Really, really nice one. But here, when I started with a super basic Singer hobby sort of sewing machine. I think it was like a starter edition, the Singer Confidence. Then last year I switched to a Brother. So I have a Brother sewing machine at the moment. It came, I went in to get another Singer heavy duty one, thinking that would be good. But when I went into Spotlight, which is our local craft shop, the lady over there actually said to me, you know what, we had this particular model come in. It is a lot better than the one that you're looking at, though it is a Brother, not a Singer. Someone had sort of there were a couple of people that had put their names down on the waitlist for that particular model, and then they both backed out. I'm not sure how that worked, but she said if you want, it's on offer, and she sort of took me through what how it compared to the one that I was looking at. Seemed like a really good deal for about the same price as the other one. Mind you, it would have been about 40% more expensive on that day. If it was not on that day, they had a 40% discount. So I ended up buying that particular Brother machine, and it has been fabulous. I used to have a lot of trouble considering how much I used to stitch with the Singer Confidence, but with the Brother machine, touch wood, till now, I've not had any issues. I also have, I eventually invested in a Brother overlocker. So I've got one of those as well. and I have a circular knitting machine, the AliExpress. So I've used that a little bit now that it hopefully now that it'll cool down in a few days. I might break that out after the pop-up's done and get started on some bits and pieces on it. Hi Magda. I have a business called Tasca Tasmania. What sort of things do you make, Magda? Yeah, it is a workhorse. I've always wanted an industrial one, but I really cannot justify the price tag at the moment. And this one's doing the job really well for me. So for now, it will have to do. My mother-in-law, I believe, had I don't know how you say it, PAF. She had one of those back in the day. I'm not sure. Or she always wanted one of those, I think. That's what my husband tells me. And the way I see it, the older the sewing machine, the better quality it is. Like if you look at the ones that are available now compared to what was available maybe 30, 40, or even 30, 40 years ago, more than that, those were absolute workhorses. Boxy pouches. I was thinking of doing a few book sleeves. I've always wanted to make book sleeves. I love, love, love reading. And book sleeves and pen pouches is one thing that I want to look at doing. We were just chatting earlier, and I was just telling them that tote bags, they've been on my to do list for so long. I bought fabric ages ago specifically for tote bags, made up my prototypes, was really happy with them, but I still haven't made any. I have a Janome Easy jeans. My niece has recently bought a Janome and she loves it. How do you find it? Oh, that's good. Tote bags with a bow and have been well received. Bows are all the rage at the moment, aren't they? For me, my bow clips, the satin bow clips, do so well. I really have such a hard time keeping them in stock, at least the more popular colors. I never seem to be able to maintain stock levels with those. And that really annoys me because I know if I have those bits in stock, they will sell at markets at least. And that's one of the things I don't think I'll have too much stock of for the my week long pop up. There's still a few days to go though. I start on Monday. I can start setting up Sunday night after the center closes for trade. So it does give me a few days. These scrunchies, I'm not going to finish off all of them. I'm just going to work. I'm just going to have the tubes ready like this. And then whatever I need, I'll just put the elastic through and finish them off as I need them. Bows with dance fabric. Dance fabric is super popular. You're talking about the fabric like Holoflex and those kind of ones, right? The sparkly. Also the ULL ones, especially with unicorn. The tulle ones with the unicorn, yeah. Anything tulle, anything unicorn, anything sparkly seems to move really well. I used to have this one. If you guys have seen any of my previous videos, I used to have this one unicorn fabric. It was sort of a purple, mauve purplish background, like a watercolor sort of background with unicorn prints on that, little bit of glitter going through it. It's from Spotlight that I bought like a few years ago. And I spoke with one of the ladies who seemed to know a thing or two about what was going on at Spotlight. And she said they're sort of phasing out the unicorn ones. I am so gutted because that particular fabric, the scrunchies as well as the bows, do so well. I'm going to have something to replace it with. How many scrunchies are you working on today? Well, this batch that I have here, it's part of a vlog that I've filmed and I have to edit and I have to upload. It's basically, it will come out in a few weeks, that particular vlog, because I still have content from last November. I'm not sure if I mentioned that, November, December. So I want to get that done with first. But in all this 280 scrunchies, I sat and actually counted, did the math while I was cutting the fabric so that I'd know how much I have. So there's about 280 strips in here. I won't finish all of them. There are some that I desperately need, like a navy blue. It's one of the school colors in the vicinity. So the navy blue satin does really well here. And that's another color that I cannot seem to keep in stock. So I've made up a whole bunch of them. Those I will definitely finish off. It is. But this will last me for a while. Like if I usually sit and make up a bunch of scrunchies like this, it is enough for a few markets for me. I'm just keeping this extra stock ready on hand because of that 7-day pop up of mine. I'm not really sure how it's going to go, not sure how busy it's going to be. It's the first time for me. And rather than having to sit and scrounge around to make it, after I come back after a long day over there, I figure I'll make some. Some of these are new colors that will be added to market stock. It'll be added to the website stock as well. But all that will happen after next week's pop-up. I was just telling them earlier on in the live stream, I usually like bulk prepping a little more than I need for the moment, because then when I'm having a bit of an off day week, happens to me every once in a while, then I know I've got stock to take to markets and for the website, and I don't have to stress then. Question for you, those of you that do markets. It's happened to me a few times now. I might have mentioned it on a previous video, but sometimes market prep goes well into the night before market day, right? And I think that I have to get XYZ done. So let's say, for example, I know that I have to get a few bows done in, say, red and green, if it's in the run up to Christmas or whatever. And I've noticed if I stay up late making those bits and pieces, more often than not a single one of them sells. And I'm talking just about the bits and pieces that I stayed up late making. Everything else kind of moves, just those don't. So it's happened to me a few times. So now I've sort of taken the hint from the universe and I don't stress. I end up with, I finish off at a reasonable time and sort of call it a day, and it seems to work well. Have you tried crocheting around a hairband? Tried with eyelash yarn and they've been popular. No, I haven't. I made one for myself way before I started this business. It was for a work event. They wanted us to have a pop of yellow. And I had nothing yellow at this point. Shocking. But yeah, nothing yellow. So I did have some yellow yarn. and I actually put together a crocheted scrunchie, which is really sweet. It turned out really nice. Not with eyelash yarn though. I might have to give that a go. I'm thinking of experimenting with, oh no. I'm thinking of experimenting with beanies for this winter, like making my own beanies, but I haven't started on that. Magda, strangely enough, the same thing happened with me a little while ago. And it happens every once in a while. Hey, maybe people are getting ready for Easter and Mother's Day. Like if you've seen my market setup videos, there are these lacy sort of bow clips that I do. And the whites, the pinks, the blacks literally fly off the shelf. I've had a couple of mustard yellows. In the picture, when I bought the trim, it came across as a very light, pretty pastel yellow. But when I got it, it was more a mustardy sort of yellow. I wasn't a big fan, but it was there. And I said, let's make it because it's not a bad color, but it didn't really match the pinks and the off whites, the whites that I had in that particular range. So um, I made them up anyway, and a few of them sold, and there was one that kind of just would not budge. I had it for weeks, and there was this one day that I decided to not put the yellow one out because I wanted to give something else a go. And my husband usually helps set up at markets and all of that. And he's like, "What are you talking about? Put that out and put it right in front." So I did it. I said, "You know what? He feels so strongly about it. I'm going to do it." Believe it or not, it sold that day. So, yep, you never know what will sell on a given day. It's really hard to predict, isn't it? Even I have a regular market that I do every once a month, and over the last few months, I've been contemplating changing my headband display, the stretchy ones at least, because that had slowed down for a bit. And I had just mentioned that to my husband that, I'm thinking of kind of pulling that display down, using that space for something else, something that will probably move a little faster. And believe it or not, at that particular market last month, I sold 4 times than I normally would of that particular style of headband. So I guess I'm keeping that. I just find it so hard to find a fabric that I like in the like your stretchy jersey fabrics. 4 a.m. start to get there and set up by 8 a.m. Oh boy, you are a brave, brave person. That's one thing actually that kills me. It's the early starts. I am not a morning person at all. I can work late into the night, but just not early in the morning. Unfortunately, most of my markets are early starts. I do a farmer's market where I have to be set up and ready to trade by 7:30, and that takes a lot out of me. Then there's a couple of others that I do where we start trading at 8 and 8:30, but it is a bit far off from where I live, so I end up having to wake up at not 4 o'clock. I think 4:30 is the earliest that I wake up. But yeah, I'm well known now, so it's a great day. The only days I don't go is if there is rain. Oh, that's great. That is fantastic. I love it I mean, it just doesn't get old when people come specifically to see you, or they've, seen you online or something on social media, and they come just to meet you, not even necessarily to purchase, but it absolutely makes my day. I'm still terribly awkward when that happens. I just still don't know how to react. But yes, I'm humbled when that happens. So humbled and so very awkward. Oh, you're lucky if everything's close by. A lot of the markets that I used to do were on an average at a 40-minute drive away from me in different directions, except for a couple of the local ones that one's a 5-minute drive, one's about a 15-minute drive. So that's not too bad. But yeah, the rest of them are at least 40 minutes away. And strangely enough, this year, because I was away for a bit and all of that, I missed out on booking those markets. So for me, market season hasn't fully taken off yet. I'm hoping over the next month or two to get a few more. Or if the pop up goes well, then I'll probably consider doing a few more indoor ones. That'll take the stress out of wondering how the weather is going to hold up. Yeah. Traffic I find is not too bad because it's so early in the morning. It's usually not that bad. Moved from Melbourne 30 years ago. Do you miss living in Melbourne? Or you really chuffed that you made the move? I'm over the city life as well. Just don't know when or where we'll make the move when we do. Tassie is beautiful. I've never been to Tassie. Always wanted to go, just never been there yet. I want to visit Tassie during the winter because I absolutely love the cold. My husband's not a big fan of the cold. He doesn't mind the cold, but then a little bit of the aches and pains kick in when it's colder. I think he would like to come there during summer. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe do autumn one year. Do you have any recommendations for things that I must see or must do that are not your typical touristy things in Tasmania? Donegal, what are you working on at the moment? Beaches on the East Coast and Hobart. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to wait for next March now. Taska is a Hungarian word for bag. Do you make tote bags as well, or is it just the boxy pouches and the bow bags that you were talking about? Hoodie scarves out of faux fur, a little complicated. So they are reversible and no seams show, but they look very classy. That sounds really nice and would be perfect for the cold days. I can't wait for winter. Winter can't get here soon enough. Magda, what's your favorite place for fabric shopping? We were just talking about how Joann's in the US is closing, how Lincraft over here has closed. Very nice. We have a lovely lady over here in Sydney also that does aprons and oven mitts, pot holders, that kind of thing. And she does them in sets as well as you can purchase them individually, but she's got uh, matching options available. And she is quite popular. Everything is so colorful and so pretty. Yeah. I've not done a how to video in a very long time. I think the last time I did it was for one of my twist headbands. I have a couple of ideas swirling around in my head for a few things, a few new things to make this year. Hopefully, if I actually get down to making it, I'll I'll record a video and put it up. I learn so much from other YouTubers as well. This is my little way of giving back when I can, I guess. Who are your favorite content creators? I'm looking for new channels to follow, to watch. I love watching Fauna Rose. Megan's in the UK. I love her videos. She makes hair accessories too, scrunchies. She does macrame, and she makes some of the prettiest headbands using that same macrame technique. I used to watch Taylor Rose a while back. I still need to catch up on some of her. I haven't, I'm so behind on a lot of creators, but Megan's videos, I have to watch them as soon as she posts them. I also watch another channel called Our Cheery Corner, I think. There's another British lady that I watch. I can't remember what her channel's called. Mm, she makes earrings, she makes clips, she does scrunchies and bows. She also does apparel. Love watching Monica's Collective. But I am looking to kind of switch things up, hoping to find a few new channels that I can follow. Do you guys watch a lot of YouTube while working on your products, or do you like binge watching Netflix and the likes, other streaming platforms, really? Yeah, they do. They're fantastic, aren't they? Me too. I'm guilty of binge watching a lot of Netflix too. I'm actually rewatching Gilmore Girls for, I don't know, the fourth or the fifth time, maybe. Every time, somehow, as the weather starts to cool down, I feel the urge to go rewatch that show again. So I'm watching a little bit of Gilmore Girls. And strangely enough, just started Vikings. I'm rewatching it. I watched a few of the seasons, and then I don't know what happened. I stopped. So now I don't know where I've left off. Binge watch Custom Border Patrols. That those shows are pretty interesting. It is amazing to see what people try. Border Patrol, and I think there's one. Oh, I'm also watching The Rookie on Netflix. Hi, Jennifer. You watch YouTube mostly. Who are your favorite creators to watch? We're just talking about potentially discovering new channels that we can follow. Finished watching Castle, and now I've moved on to The Rookie. It's the same star character, Nathan Fillion. So it's quite interesting. just finished watching the latest episode of Bridgerton. I know I'm late to the party. Started out watching Taylor Rose, but click on anything that pops up. I'm the same. I mean, you'd really, there's so much out there at the moment on YouTube as well. I have a lot of catching up on YouTube. A lot of catching up to do, rather. The Sewing Channel. Oh, I must check them out. Seen anything. I haven't seen anything by the Sewing Channel before. I'll have to check them out. Since a lot of us here making scrunchies, how are you finding your scrunchie sales at the moment? Do you find they're tapering off? They're still consistent? Do you find there's any size that works better than others? Yeah, I watch her too. That's her name. I called her Monica's Collective. That's the business. That's what her business is called. It was fantastic to watch her do the 52-day pop up in New York City. I don't know if I'd ever be able to take on a challenge as big as that. Not yet, at least. I've been watching her from back in the day when she used to actually make apparel. XOXO Charlie is something that I've been watching. I think I sort of, one of her videos popped up just maybe 2 weeks ago. Magda, I felt the same way the last part of 2024. But when I went back to my regular market this March, first weekend of March, I sold through so many scrunchies, and that took me by surprise in a good way. I thought it was dying out a bit. Do you make hair bow clips as well? Or just the bags and the bow bags and the pouches and aprons and such? All sorts of bows. Very cool. Scrunchies don't do well for me in my small markets. Only the ones with the Alaska themed fabric sell the best, not my primary product. Slouch bags are my signature items. Had a sewing machine for over 5 years. I used to make faux leather bows for bookmarks a very long time ago. Faux leather and glitter bows. I've never really, I do have some of that fabric lying around, leftovers from that project. I might actually consider putting some of them on clips just to see how they go. With your sewing machine, just bite the bullet, do what I do. I follow YouTube videos on unboxing and setting up and all of that. There's loads of channels that actually show you how to do it and just get started. You'll wonder why you waited for so long. I find the more expensive items are doing very well, which is surprising. Oh, good for you. Like we were saying earlier, you just can't call it. There's one particular market, the Kiribati one that I used to do last year. I just haven't been able to book them in this year. They've changed their layout, and it's been challenging getting a booking with them. But that market used to do really well. I used to do really well with my XL scrunchies at that particular market. I'd sell a heap more than I'd sell at any other market on any given day. I really miss that market. Hoping I can get back in there soon. My best sellers are my super tiny bows, 1.5-inch pigtail bows on toddler and nylon hair ties. Do you mostly do bows, Jennifer? Or are there other bits and pieces that you make along with the bows as well? It's hand sewn. I'm sure the bows keep you plenty busy. Does Easter tend to be busier for you guys? I find that Easter just sort of moves along, not necessarily very busy, maybe a tiny bit so, but nowhere close to obviously Christmas. That being said, I don't make a lot of Easter themed products because they tend to move pretty slowly. Like even for Christmas, though some of the Christmassy bits will move, I find people tend to stick to Christmas colors. That way they can use those bits and pieces at other times as well. I do a scrunchie that I call giant, that is 10 inches by the length of the satin fabric, and it's super sellers. Sounds really cool. Whereabouts are you based, Jennifer? If you don't mind me asking. Don't give me an address. Are you in Australia, in the UK, the US, or Canada? I've been looking at consignment shops. I went to visit one over the weekend. It was not, I'm glad I went to visit before Illinois, US. Glad I went to visit before I started or decided to sign up with them because that was definitely not my crowd. I make bunny ears crunchies. Yeah, I had taken a bag of samples just in case. Well, maybe Magda, you can check out, potentially check. I don't know if Magda has any on Instagram. Are you on Instagram, Magda? Maybe we can have a look there, Donnie. All right. I think it's time for me to take a bit of a break. I'm sure you guys are potentially fed up of listening to me yammer on as well. But yeah, it's been almost an hour and a half. And Tina, I live in Norway. Wow, all the way from Norway. That is so cool. I think furthest up north, I have a lovely lady from Germany that pops on. I had one place tell me no over the phone, so I just showed up a few weeks later in person. She still told me no when just asking, but I told her I bought some and she said she'd look at them. She took them on the spot. Yep, that's one thing. If the finish on your product is great and your products look nice, they feel good, you end up selling and convincing people straight away. Okay, ladies, I think I'm going to call it for now. It's been an hour and a half, and I have to go and get a few chores done for the day as well. 50% of the sales. Yeah, the fine print's very important. It's so important to make sure that you're well aware of everything. Thank you guys so much for joining in. I know it's been a little subdued over here today. I will have a few more 70%. Oh, that's not too bad. I assume compared to the 50 at least. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I will try and do another live sometime soon again. I the last time around I managed to connect my camera to my computer. Today I just couldn't do that, so I'm having to use my crappy webcam. So apologies for the quality of the recording. I'm hoping to get that sorted out before I do the next one. Thank you guys so much for joining. Have a great evening or good night to those of you like Tina, where it's 1:30 in the night. And I'll see you soon. I will put up another post letting you know when I'm going to be live next. So if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Apart from the live streams, there's obviously my regular videos that will also start going up now that I'm back. And that would mean the world to me. If you enjoyed the live, please consider liking the stream. That way it gets suggested and pushed out to other folks like us who enjoy these kind of videos. Thank you once again, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.